Today we are having a look at the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra. This is the 2025 version. You can see there that this is LTE, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS, and the 2025 model. I'll tell you the difference between this and the 2024 model, but there isn't a lot of difference between the two. But does that mean it's not the watch to buy? Let's discuss. So the Watch 2025 Ultra, what is the difference? Really, it comes down to two things. The color that's available. This is the titanium silver, which actually has like a gray strap, and the amount of storage that it has. The new 2025 model actually has 64 gig of storage versus just the 32 gigabyte of storage that's in the 2024 variant. Same watch size, 47mm. They've both got 590 milliampere battery. Both have 2 gig of RAM and both come with the Exynos W1000 processor chip inside, and they have the same bioactive sensor on the back. So really for me, it comes down to whether you keep running out of storage or you like the particular color that's available in the new option as to whether you would do that upgrade. You've got all of the features that you currently have in your standard Galaxy series, but they have launched some other really good features in relation to your health, which we can discuss. I really love this clock face. This is one of the standard ones, which is called a dashboard. Now you can customize this dashboard. You can see I've got shortcuts here to the weather, heart rate, my camera, timer. Down the bottom, my steps. On the left-hand side here, I've got shortcut to how much water I should be drinking per day. And on the right-hand side, I've got my battery. You can see currently 5 days, 5 hours left, and that's without power saving mode on, which is pretty cool. Do find really depends on whether you've got the always on display running all the time or whether you've got that turned off, but I get about 4 to 5 days before I've got to give this a charge again. Which brings me to one of my gripes with Samsung on this is that, you know, they give you the cable to charge, which magnets to the back of the watch. Pretty similar to all the others, nice decent amount of cable, but they don't give you the charging block that is required. So I have to go off one of my old phones, and it actually needs one of these USB-C connector chargers to plug that in if you wanted to use the wall connection, and they don't give you that in the box. So that's kind of, you know, a bit stingy in my opinion. You're paying lots of money for this awesome watch, but you know, they don't give you a way to charge it unless you've got one of these already. I've actually got one of the charging stands, so I don't really use this cable. I just sort of pop it onto a stand to charge, but to me, it would just be nice if they had that included. Removing the bands is quite easy. It's just a simple push of this little button here. So you just push this button in, and as you can see, that pulls off. So you can easily swap your bands over, which brings me to probably another gripe is that the expense of these bands are quite expensive if you want a genuine one, but there's lots of aftermarket ones out there that are pretty good actually, and nowhere near the price of the genuine. So put them back on, quite easy. Just clips on like that. Top and bottom, you just push this in to remove the bands. So really easy to remove. So a bit on the functionality from the top button here, if you hold that in, it'll take you to Gemini. If you hold the bottom button in here, it'll take you to your Samsung wallet. Middle button, you can program to whatever you want. I've actually got that set to exercise. So if I want to go straight into exercise, it's just pressing this button. But you can have that set to whatever you want. That's in the menu. No buttons on this side. So just the 3 controls on here. Most of the menu is controlled via you touching the screen. So swiping down will enable sleep mode, power, settings, whether you want it to vibrate, be on, etc. Always on display is here, so you can turn that on or off, and then you've got power saving mode there as well. From the left, you'll see all of your notifications, so they come through from the left swipe. When you swipe from the right, you'll be in your widgets, so you can have as many widgets as you want here. You can see I've got calculator, exercises, device settings, my health, controls for music, etc., heart, and you can add tiles into here and customize it for what you want. Swiping up from the bottom will actually bring up your apps. So you can customize these apps and put them in whatever position you want. But you can see there's a plethora of apps there for you to choose from. Most common ones that I use on my watch are the timer, calculator, Shazam if I want to know what that song is that's playing on the radio. There's lots here, Samsung Health, Google Play Store. In here in the health monitor, you'll notice these 3 really cool ones, which is ECG, blood pressure, and sleep apnea. The watch will actually do a test for ECG. If you've got a blood pressure machine at home, you can configure, you need to use that and input 3 readings into your watch, and then your watch, you can actually do blood pressure readings for about 3 months from just the watch itself. And we now have the sleep apnea feature, which you can configure. So while you're wearing this, while you're sleeping, it will actually do a sleep apnea test, which is really cool as well. It'll do it over 2 nights and it will give you a report back as to whether it thinks you might have moderate or severe sleep apnea. And then you can go to your GP and have a discussion about having an official test done, which is really important. You can download as many different watch faces as you want. If you hold down in the middle, you'll see just a few of those different watch faces that I have here, but you can just click and add new ones as you want. But I really like the dashboard one because I can configure it to what icons and what shortcuts mean the most to me. It is a really stylish watch, feels nice when you're wearing it, and you'll get lots of compliments about how cool your watch looks. So if you're after a smartwatch, then I definitely think the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra 2025 model is worth checking out.